Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? Justin Hombach here, back from my practice cave. And welcome to the first lesson of the year 2021. Welcome to my channel this year. One of my current main obstacles to achieve technical freedom is legato playing, hammer-ons and pull-offs. So I decided myself for 2021 I will focus on that in my practice routine, will work on that to achieve new abilities on the legato section and to get a little bit more freedom and control in my left hand. Because when they are both together, it's pretty fine, I would say. I would say I can play with both hands together, but when I'm playing the left hand alone, it can be a terrible mess, especially for the timing and for some more kind of phrasing stuff. Not especially the speed, but the complexity and the timing. So I decided, okay, I'm going to work on that on legato for the next 3 months, and I'm going to share all my views and insight and all the stuff that I'm going to learn new, all the lessons and all the, I would say, the stones in your way to achieve a greater legato technique. I will try to do this as often as I can. It won't be the only thing on my channel for the next 3 months, no, but I will try to focus a little bit on that, a little bit on smaller lessons with big detail and with some big, I would say, insights about my approach of legato playing, all the stuff that I'm going to relearn, learn new, or where I focus on while practicing legato. And in today's video we are going to take a look at something which I call melodic strength improvement. What do I mean by that? Well, there is a typical exercise if you want to gain more strength in your finger and more endurance. It's this typical this one here, or with the ring finger and the index, or with the index and the pinky and stuff like that, but I never really liked this kind of exercise. Well, there is a really great workout out there from Rusty Cooley from his Art of Shredding DVD, and I recommend everybody to check this one out. But this is a workout that you should do every 3 days or every 2 days maximum, because it's really stressful and painful for the left hand. But I never practiced this kind of method because I thought it was boring. You can't approach it or use it in a little bit more of a musical way. And this is something where I always try to focus on when I'm going to do lessons for my coaching students and stuff like this, that I will try to include more to this lesson to get a musical added value, if you know what I mean. So I thought, what can I do with this kind of lesson? Because it's not that I'm saying the lesson is bad. The lesson is actually pretty good if you're focusing on some stuff to increase your endurance and your strength in your left hand. But as I've said, I always find it a little bit boring, and a lot of my students are finding this one boring as well. You don't want to sit down half an hour and practice it. Something like that. You will never find a good solo where somebody's playing a run like and stuff like that. So first I thought the main aspect of this kind of lesson is to train the independence on the movement of different finger pairs. For example, index and middle finger, index and middle finger as index and ring finger, index and pinky, pinky and middle, pinky and ring finger, and stuff like that. So I thought, well, why not trying to apply this kind of thriller method to increase your endurance and your strength in your left hand, but apply it on scales, on a more melodic kind of approach, so you can actually play some sort of melody here with those kind of thrills. For example, let's combine this one with practicing a scale. When you're practicing a certain scale, a fingering for a certain scale, like let's say the 3 note per string scale, sorry, get a little bit distracted by my cat, then why not trying to apply those trills? For example, we're taking the 3 note per string scale here. And then we're going to try to thrill every note of them. So first we have our index and ring finger, then the ring finger and pinky, the same fingering again, then index and middle finger in the stretch position, which is really important that you are training different stretch positions, but we're going to talk about this one in another lesson. Then we have middle and pinky, or ring and pinky, Depends on which way you decide to play the 3-note per string scale. The same shape here and here. And here we have again index and middle finger and pinky. Now we can not only train our thrills and our speed and our endurance on the left hand, we can also train 3-note per string scales, when this is something that you're working on right now as well, you hit 2 birds with 1 stone. So this is pretty awesome. Okay, what do I think is important to focus when you're doing those kind of thrills? Well, not only doing this one fast, I highly recommend everybody to do this one slow as well, and in different tempos and different timings. Why is this important? Because it's a huge difference when we want to play something fast and we want to play something slow and controlled. And the control, for example, is that kind of term where I have weakness in. Because when you're doing something like this, you can play fast. Your left hand is fast already, but can you control it in a slower tempo? You will find out, do you have the control of the timing. Imagine this is 1 quarter note and the exact half of it is an 8 note. Now, when you are hammering and pull off, you don't have your right hand to check or to get this kind of 8 note feeling where you know, okay, every hit from my right hand is an 8 note, so then I have to move with my left hand as well. What sometimes happens is then when you do a hammer on and you lay down your finger a little bit longer than the exact half of a quarter note, then you aren't in time anymore. The timing will really suffer under that. And this is something that happens a lot for me in different situations as well. For example, speed picking is something where a lot of beginners have the problem with the pull-off, that they are playing something more like this. Instead of a nice and steady. So I recommend to do those thrills, and every legato exercise that I'm going to show you now from the future on, to do this one a lot slower. And to do this with a click, to always check, are you right from the 8 notes? Or are you more a little bit like this? And especially in different kind of stretches, when you're doing something like this one, for example. Then for me sometimes it happens that my pinky is, because of the stretch and the strength that I need in the stretch, is laying down a little bit too long here on the D string, and then the pull off is too slow and it's lagging a lot, so it's not in time anymore and I'm not really happy with it. So I try to focus on that, and that you can control this one, especially when you're playing it slow. So I recommend everybody play legato slow. There are different approaches for those thrill kind of things, and there are different approaches for legato as well. We're going to talk about all of them in this future kind of series, like only doing hammer-ons like Alan Holdsworth, Brett Garsett or Marshall Harrison, or to do the pull-off, letting the index finger laying down or lifting up every time when we use another finger. The lazy finger, like Tom Quayle lately called it in one of his great videos. Yeah, so take those thrills and try to play a little bit more of a melody kind of style. It won't be a perfect solo because it still will sound like something like that. But you can apply that to different things that you're learning right now. For example, I'm currently learning a lot more my 4-note per string scale, so I go through every fingering and try to apply those kind of thrills, to learn it from the stretch here, or to apply it with the stretch, and to get a little bit more the fingering into my fingers for 4-note per string scale. And the great thing about applying this one on scales is that you have automatically different kind of finger shapes and fingerings and finger combinations because of the nature of the scale. And those are the finger combinations that you want to use a lot, because we want to try to play scales and stuff like this. You can do this as well as intervals on one string, like for example playing only everything in third, going to the scale for example horizontally and playing it in thirds. Something like that, or in fifths, then you have a little bit of a bigger stretch here, the fourth. Ooh, let me go a little bit up here, fourth, fifth here. So you will train your ear as well by playing all of those intervals and stuff like that. So yeah, try to be creative with that and try to come up with some new ideas and some new explorations about this kind of idea. Try to take this kind of more boring kind of stuff and try to do something new with it. Like, for example, combine it with intervals or try to outline arpeggios with only that. Like, for example, this one, this E minor arpeggio. The timing is not that perfect right now, but I'm working on it. And maybe I will do some sort of etude about this kind of idea with the arpeggios and the scale. I'm really liking this. But yeah, try to be creative for your own and try to come up with some new cool ideas by using this kind of thrill technique, but not only in this 4-finger position, but in a little bit more kind of stretchy scale, intervallic arpeggio position. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah, so much for the first legato master lesson. I hope you liked. I hope you will follow my kind of series here for the next few months and my progress, because this is what we all want to do. We want to progress, and this is why I'm here, to share my progress as well, to teach you guys how to progress and to bring you to the next level. So if you have any ideas and any trouble of your own for legato, write me down in the comments. Yeah, and I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. So far, cheers, stay progress, and let's master the legato.